I am back in one of my favorite places, the Balkans. Here I'm at the top of a cathedral dedicated to Saint Mother Teresa, and check out the views. It's a beautiful cathedral dedicated to Saint Mother Teresa. Now, funnily enough, when I was in Skopje, North Macedonia, I actually went to Mother Teresa's supposed residence in the city. And it's quite telling of the impact she's had on the countries of this region and the culture, because wherever you go in the Balkans, you're definitely very likely to find either memorials, monuments, iconography, or cathedrals and extraordinary buildings like this dedicated in her name. Very interesting. Now, one thing synonymous with Eastern Europe and the Balkans are Romani gypsies. Now, one thing I have noticed is so far in Pristina there's a lot less gypsies about than in the neighbouring countries. We've had a few close calls in places like Romania and in Slovakia, in Košice. I got in a precarious situation at a train station where I was completely surrounded by people trying to take my things, asking for money. But here, it doesn't seem to have that problem. Now, a bit more on gypsies. If you don't know where the term come from, I believe it's from Egyptsy, because when the gypsies, are originally from the Indian subcontinent. They migrated to Europe, and when they first came into the European continent, many believed that they were Egyptians, so they were given the term Egyptsy. I believe so anyway, and over time this has progressed into just the term gypsy, with many of them, well, the majority being Romani, those that came from India. So this is a building that I was really quite excited to see coming to Pristina in Kosovo, and it's the National Library. And as I'm just walking up to it now, and as I turn the camera, you're going to see why I was so fascinated by it. Here we go. Check that out. Now, I'm not sure how clear it is for you, but as we get closer, this building is quite significant because I believe it was designed by a Croatian architect, but the idea of the building was when Kosovo sort of solidified or attempted to gain its independence, it wanted the architecture to represent the merging of both Muslim and Byzantine cultures, because there's quite a mix here in Kosovo. So look, here we go. So the interesting thing about this is that when it was designed with 99 geometric concrete domes across the top. And it's quite a contentious point here in Kosovo, because lots of people see this building as an eyesore, whereas some obviously think it's a good celebration of the mixing of cultures here in Kosovo. So let me know what you think. Chaos in the centre. Some poor bloke riding his motorbike has been hit by a bus by the looks of it. Not nice. Now, many of you may be wondering why in the middle of Pristina in Kosovo, in the Balkans, there is a memorial, a statue dedicated to President Bill Clinton. Now, at first I was a bit shocked about this as well, but it turns out, it turns out that the Kosovans have a bit of a love affair with the American Clinton family, particularly Bill, because Bill Clinton was one of the, if not the driving force in pushing for the UN bombing campaign against Serbia, which helped Kosovo gain its national independence. So it is said that there is a very strong love affair here with the Kosovans and the Bill Clinton family. The more you know. Now, a bit more about Kosovo, if you do not know already. It is situated in sort of the central Balkans area, southeastern Europe, sandwiched between Bosnia, Montenegro, Serbia and Macedonia. So due to its geographical location, Bosnia is one of the few countries that is actually predominantly Muslim on the European continent. Similar to its neighbours, Bosnia, Albania I think as well. So coming to this region of Europe I find very interesting, because there's a real eclectic mix, a melting pot you could say, of the two cultures, the Christian Western culture and then the Muslim Islamic culture. And it's very interesting to see. I believe there's still somewhat a stigmatism around this area of Europe due to, in the late 90s, all the coverage of the war in the region, and because ever since the fall of Yugoslavia there's sort of been somewhat of a power vacuum, a struggle for power in land, and different countries that used to be one in Yugoslavia now fighting over borders. However, when you actually come to this region of Europe, you'll find that it's actually extremely safe. I've been to the majority of all of the countries around the Balkans, and any time of the day, any time of night, you can walk around completely safe. I mean, I touched on this in my previous video when I was doing a UK city, and I highlighted the point that you're much more likely to be in danger or in unsafe areas walking around our very own UK cities than you are here in Eastern Europe and the Balkans. And it's very nice. Heading up through the city centre with a memorial for the men and women who sacrificed their lives in gaining independence. Lots of turmoil in the country's history. However, going forward, it seems very peaceful, and everyone here are very friendly. I urge you, if you haven't come to this area of Europe, the Balkans especially, you really should make the effort to come. You will not regret it. So here we go, guys. I think it's Peja, half litre, less than £3. Lovely. Down to the important stuff. Gorgeous. Nena Teresa. As I was saying earlier, you can't walk too far without seeing something dedicated to Saint Mother Teresa. Magnificent. Look what we have come across. Oh, mind, try not to get hit by the cars. Look what we've come across in the back streets of Pristina, representing Great Britain, the old English pub. I wonder what sort of pints you could get in there. Unfortunately, it's not my sort of cup of tea. I like to come and try all of the local cuisine, food and drink. But you love to see it. Normally it's Irish pubs, Irish bars, but who doesn't love a bit of English representation? We've made it to Newborn Street, the Newborn Monument, signifying and celebrating Kosovo's independence from Serbia. Now it's quite interesting seeing all the monuments and seeing a bit of the history relating to Kosovo's side of the story regarding its bid, which won it independence. Because having previously been to Belgrade in Serbia, I have already received the Serbian side of the story and the narrative. And seeing the contrast, I won't get into that on here because that's besides the point, but seeing the contrast in the two is very eye-opening. We are here in one of the city's lovely green parks, very well maintained. It's nice and quiet now at this time of the day. Here's another angle of the cathedral. It's lovely, check this out. I don't know about any of you, but I'm a bit of a sucker for things like this when I travel. I like seeing the history, I like seeing the culture, I like seeing the architecture, and of course the food, so we'll get onto that. But amazing. Another thing I've noticed here in Pristina is if you're a single guy and you're like a Balkan lady, get yourself over to Kosovo, because I'm not even joking, the ratio is like 4-to-1. Like, it seems like it's ridiculous. So if you're single and ready to mingle, get yourself down here. Cheap flight, you're sorted. So I think I'll end this video here for today. I'll reconvene tomorrow. Just been and had some really nice traditional food. Don't ask me what it's called, I cannot remember for the life of me, but I'll whack a picture in after this and then we'll go and see where the rest of the night takes us. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, day 2. The weather is lovely, but here we go, another thing that I love. Let's get some breakfast. We're here to get some burek. I think we'll get some meat and cheese. It's gorgeous. Okay, we secured the goods. What do we got? Meat and cheese. Now, I've had burek in quite a few different countries. We've had it in Macedonia, Bulgaria, Istanbul, Bosnia. But yeah, here we go. We'll try this. So good. I mean, burek anywhere is amazing. And this, we've got 2 full plates, $1.40 each. So barely £2 for a load of food. Amazing. So, as we walk through downtown Pristina in the local markets, the main mission for today is heading to the bear sanctuary. I have no idea how we're going to get there. I'm not really sure where it is, so we'll see how it goes. We'll make do. I'm not really using my phone because I don't have any data plan, so we're just winging it. So we'll see how we get on. I can't believe you can just buy bags and bags of these, and they're like €1. It's insane. Makes you realise how much you're getting ripped off back in the UK and in Europe. So you're getting so much. Everything is so cheap. Anything that you need. It's all on mass sale as well. I saw earlier, I should have got it on video. 5 kg for €3 of any fruit and veg. It's crazy. You live like a king over here. Actually, I was speaking to someone last night when I was having my meal, and they were saying like the sort of average rent prices over here are like €300 a month. And although obviously they're paid accordingly, but Kosovo has a lot of diaspora, so a lot of ethnic nationals live abroad. But since it's got a lot safer and the war's finished, they're all moving back, and they're coming from like the US and all over Europe and stuff like that. And they're able to secure sort of remote positions, and they're still working for their previous employers, which means you're able to come back here and live like a king. The average rental property being like €300 a month, you can get a really nice place. All the food's really cheap. And if you can maintain your old salary, yeah, it's no wonder they're all coming back, because you can have a really good quality of life. We have made it to the sanctuary. Let's go see the stars of the show. I mean, walking through the front gates already reeks, so it should be good. I've heard good things. Apparently you get pretty up close, so let's go. Definitely wouldn't like to come across him on your own in these mountains, that's for sure. But oh god. I think this is meant to represent the bear's past mistreatment, but not too sure. So, hey ho, there you go. Poor old bear behind bars. So, to get into this sanctuary, it was actually, I think, €3 each. So what's that? £2.5 quid, maybe a bit less. So it's very cheap. And it's a bit of a look, little lizard. Hello, mate. We'd try and grab him, but we don't want to take his tail off. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's a bit hit or miss when you go to places like this, because it can be quite sad, sorry state for the animals. But oh look, check this out. Nice view. But this place there's quite a lot of space, but this place has, I think, 17, 18 bears, and all of them are rescues. And the majority of them, I think, were used as restaurant bears. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's where a restaurant owner has it basically in a cage out front to try and draw people in to his restaurant. And they live in awful conditions, and they're abused quite badly, and they're very malnourished, because it's said that most of them are fed a diet of, I believe it was beer and bread. So you can imagine the animals are just ballooning, not getting any of the nutrients or minerals that they need, and living a miserable life stuck in a cage. So although it is a bit 50-50 with some zoos or sanctuaries like this, all the bears here you can definitively say are living a better life than they were previous. So right, I had a bit of a dodgy situation actually in Košice in Slovakia, and we're in this zoo way up in the mountains, and a lot of the animals were winterized, so like half the animals were in the zoo, and we were walking through and there was like no one there. It was a massive place. We were walking through up in the mountains, and we get to this one bit and the fence is like up to my chest, and I was looking at the fence and I was thinking, what the hell's behind here, because it doesn't look like it would stop much. We walk around a bit more and it's Eurasian brown bears in the enclosure, and there was seemingly nothing else stopping them other than a fence chest high, and we were there on our own, and I was sort of thinking, yeah, maybe we should get a move on, because it suddenly didn't feel so safe. It was pretty dodgy. But it's quite interesting going to, obviously you got your zoos in the UK, and then you travel abroad and you go to all these different zoos, and the standards and the different safety regulations and all this. It is quite mind-blowing actually, because some are very lax, but that's all part of the fun, I suppose. Stunning views of the mountains, but I'm not sure I signed up for this. I thought we'd just wandering around. Check this out. Look how steep. Just goes up and up and up. Been walking for ages. Especially in the 30-degree heat. It's definitely not my strong suit, but hey ho. I could be in rainy old England. So let's get on with it. Right, let's hope he doesn't move. Let's come back here. Let's come a bit closer. God, look, they do. They look all cuddly, like they wouldn't hurt a fly. Check this out. So we're just walking around a big steel cage. So if one of the bears breaks loose, we all get rounded up and chucked in the cage, roles reversed. I suppose it's a necessary thing you need to have, because I don't fancy my chances in outrunning a brown bear. But oh wow, look at this. The higher and higher we get, the views just get so good. It's lovely and quiet as well. Amazing. They are quite incredible. So the only thing with stuff like this is, like, I suppose it's like any animal place, getting a decent view of the animals is quite tough. There's one down the water there making all sorts of noise. Oh, but very difficult to get a view. Okay, so we've quickly stopped in the car because check this out. Apparently this lake is called Badovce, and it's one of the bigger lakes in and around Pristina, maybe in Kosovo, I'm not sure. And our driver was telling us that the city gets a lot of its drinking water from here. But it's just lovely. Lots of people down here fishing, chilling, and I mean, what, you can't ask for much more. The weather's lovely. It's here. It's nearly October in Kosovo and it's 30 degrees. Gorgeous. So, back in Pristina, slight issue. Just received confirmation that our flights out are cancelled, and the only alternative they gave me was in a week's time. Now that's not ideal. So I think we're going to try, well, I'll try to get my money back and fly out from a different country, I guess. So we'll see. But yeah, so I think I'll end the video here, and then if there's any updates, I'll either do it in another video at the start or whack it on the end. But this has been Pristina, very enjoyable. I would definitely recommend. Peace.